Well, locked up at a home or not, we're not in the Raceday.tv studios, but we're all coming from you individually in our home comfort studios. So welcome to Raceday.tv Hanging Cable SA with myself, Keith Buerta, and Cliffy Ogle. Cliffy, to the show, my buddy. It's been a while.
Yeah, but I mean, I missed you a couple of weeks back, but I'm so glad to see you. And just to throw it in there, it's quite nice to be sitting with you on our show and not having to wear any pants. So that's quite lekker.
If I only knew it was going to go that way. Cliffy, we've missed 2 weeks, but there was definitely big racing that took place last weekend at Swartkorps in round 2 with the SA-SBK and also the ZX10 Red Square Masters. We've got a few special guests on the show this evening. Do you want to kick us off? Who are we chatting to first?
So, I mean, we've had him before, but I mean, it never gets old having a South African champion in his home studio. So we've got Clinton Seller, who's going to come and talk to us about 2 weeks ago, the race weekend. And then we're also going to probe him about his move to Honda, because that's been talked about quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. And then Byron Bester, who I was so excited to see go racing and mix it up with the big boys, but then unfortunately a very strange incident kept him out of the race, which, I mean, we'll chat to him about that. And then, yeah, I mean, no one really chatted to him about it, yeah. So I'm excited to chat to him. And then we've got 600 superstar Taric Van Der Merwe that's going to join us later on. So very, very exciting youngsters and seasoned professionals that we've got to chat to tonight. So very exciting stuff.
Yeah, we also, of course, as always, got Mr. Rob Portman himself from Ride Fast Magazine. I'm at Raceday Magazine. Ride Fast Magazine, talking about his commentary on the SA-SBK round 2 with Greg Maloney and them. They did a great job with all of them to produce that. It was beautiful. He's sent us in a video clip also talking a bit of the testing we did at Red Star in the past week. That was fantastic. But I think without further ado, let's go to our defending SA-SBK champion, Clinton Seller from King Price Extreme. Welcome to the show, Clinton.
What's up, guys? Thanks some more. Thanks for having me. Rather strange circumstances we all find ourselves in. But yeah, I mean, so we carry on. We think about racing more than get on with racing for a while. So thanks for having me, and hopefully, we entertain the people for a bit.
Yeah, for sure, Clint. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I know when I chatted to you on the Friday, you were struggling a little bit. But on Saturday, completely different animal on that R1. And I mean, at a couple of stages when I was watching you at turn 8, you were rolling it in on the hill. So you didn't even have to use both the tires for turn 8. But tell us about that weekend, because like I said, you were battling, but you were really, really, really on pace on the Saturday. It was actually unbelievable how fast you were going on Saturday.
Yeah, man. Thanks some more. Really appreciate that. Thanks, Cliff. Yeah, Friday was a really difficult day. I must be honest. We came there with a lot of the challenges we had from the first race. We hadn't actually even been out on track. We were there on Wednesday. We had the same problems. We were there again on Friday with the same issues. And, we had big problems with corner entry, which I think everyone saw at the first race as well. And the reason I fell, besides I had made an error, we had no control on corner entry. So yeah, we were battling. I think Steve Cannon got about 5,000 more grey hairs because, believe it or not, I'm really, really unpleasant when I'm battling. I'm really an unpleasant person to be around. So yeah, I think Steve and the whole King Price Extreme team were avoiding me like the plague. I've been doing this so many years, and I've been racing. I really try super hard every time I pull out of the pits, but that also results in a lot of frustration when things are, when I can feel we're not going in the right direction. And Friday was that day. We just struggled all day, and to be honest, it was quite unsafe. And Steve Cannon, I think, to get away from me, probably, took the bike back and spent some time on the rapid bike system, and actually found out we had an error. like a weird thing. I don't know, when the bike was being washed, or just bike being worked on, or fairings being changed because I had a fall in the last race, or even from the fall we had broken the lambda sensor, and lambda sensor broken meant the bike had no control on the corner entry. So yeah, it was just so difficult to ride. But then Steve phoned me on Friday night and said he found something, So Saturday morning, I think morning warm-up, we saw that we had good pace. We were substantially faster than anyone else. And I think we were able to carry that into the races, which is really cool. You know what I mean? It was a big event for us. It was very important.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
with touch. I apologize. I jumped in there. We have a bit of delay. I actually wanted to just touch on that, Clinton. I mean, I saw the actual eventing side of it and the setup that you guys and your team, King Price Extreme, put together. And I mean, that on its own is a massive undertaking. There was 100+ people, I feel. And it was a big event, and it's a big social gathering. And I mean, and for you to be in that social space and full, conscious with all of these personalities and people, and then getting on that motorcycle and steering it and riding it the way you do is quite phenomenal. I mean, how do you, as a rider and in that team owner position, manage all of that?
Yeah, I must say, thanks, appreciate that, Keith. Yeah, that's probably the biggest challenge that I've had since, taking on my own team. The eventing side of a race is, it consumes a monstrous amount of time. It consumes a monstrous amount of your mental time, which, 4 years ago for me was only dedicated to riding the motorbike. I thought I had tough life because I had to make sure my helmets and I had enough visors and my gloves were clean. It's now when I think of that, it's like I don't even know what I did with all the time. So it's been an absolute monster to handle. But I must be honest that this year, King Price last year sent a lady, Sia, out who's actually the top events lady, and they sent her out to a few races with me last year. And she came to me and said, Clint, man, I can see you battling, and how can I help? And King Price were extraordinary at the beginning of this year when they said to me, we're going to send an events team out with you. So every race I have the King Price Extreme events team led by Sia at every round. And it's so cool because yes, I still am the team owner, and at the end of the day the checks have got to be cut by myself, but it is a budget and budgeted for. But Sia and King Price run the event, and the events have gotten better. They're better organized than when I did it. And, I can also focus a little bit on the racing. For me, to be dead honest, the season only started at this race. For me, the season didn't start the first race. The first race was a month earlier than we've ever ridden. Everything that I did was focused on being a team owner. I didn't focus on being a rider. I needed to make sure the bikes were vinyls and stick it up. And, the guys from Image Build did an incredible out of the blue maneuver to get the bikes done. I mean, we were collecting bikes on Saturday morning from being stick it up, the van being stick it up, getting Safiso's bike from him as a privateer, having his bike, done up with the team sponsors like Light Tech, footrests and levers, and rapid bike systems being put on, and all these crazy things that, to be honest, when I fell off in the first race, it was such a relief because I actually got 10 minutes to myself. Everyone thought I was cross, everyone left me alone.
You had to drag off from the bike to the pit wall, and everyone was like, I just had to get it out of my system. I knew I had to have that happen. I had like so much on my mind that riding was the last thing, and it showed because my performance was lackluster, and that was on me, and then we sat down as a team and we worked on these things, and we spoke about it with myself, with my crew chief Steve, with Sia, even with my wife, who's here saying, and me. But, all of them, and I think everyone said, for sure, my focus was not where it needed to be, and my fitness wasn't even where it needed to be honest. I was more focused on getting things ready than even doing the work
outside of being on the motorbike. So, that I took that bitter pill, swallowed it, and came to the second race ready for a race season. And, I think we got our butts whooped a bit on Friday, but Saturday we were able to, tick the boxes, which shows that we can still do it, which is important.
So now, I mean, like with that being said, you now, I mean, there's a lot of talk, and I've heard a lot of rumors in that, but now there's a talk of you switching to Honda. So now it's almost like you've got the R1 set up, you're going like the clappers on it, and now it's time for a new challenge, and we're looking at a new bike. I mean, can you comment on that?
Yeah, to be honest, it was supposed to be a secret. It was all supposed to be a secret from basically the beginning of the year, but I don't think it's a secret at all. It's been the worst kept secret probably in SA motorcycle racing. But yeah, I've been fortunate.
Everything.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Rian and I actually approached Rian, probably midway through last year. I started to, I Facebooked Rian. I hit him up on Facebook, and I said, hey, would you be interested in doing something like this? I rode for Honda in 2012. I won the last SA championship that they've had in road racing. So I rode for them, and we were successful. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the passion that the company put behind, and that was something that for me, that as a team owner, more than a rider, as a team owner, was important. This is running a race team, and racing is not the Saturday event. It's months and months and months of work, of preparation, of hard work, of spending exorbitant amount of money, and working with people that want to do this with you is so important for me to maintain my my motivation. It's really hard to work with guys that are, they just kind of expect crazy expectations from you. And Honda, I mean, they were just so keen. Rian from day one was like, yeah, let's do this. What do you need? And was so accommodating and really passionate. And I left the first meeting with Honda excited, and I missed that, and I missed that that feeling. And it's been like that in every single meeting, every single cup of coffee. I mean, I don't know if everyone knows, but yeah, I mean, I rode the bike a little over a week and a bit ago. I managed to ride the Honda, and I had done like 60 k's by the time I got onto it. To Red Star. Yeah, we were at Red Star. So absolutely stock. And it's been quite a few years since I've ridden a stock bike, and I was blown away. I went there thinking that, stock bikes are really, really soft and plush, and always kind of slow because of the the Eurocat stuff in the exhaust, and all the limitations that are put on them that we obviously get rid of to go on a race bike. And I think I did like 5 laps. I pulled into Steve Cannon, and I think my eyes were he could see that I was really like excited about what we have going forward, because it's a huge step. When I say it's a huge step, it's gargantuan, the amount that Honda have gone forward, and not gone forward to meet the level of other bikes and other manufacturers. They've surpassed them. And I mean, it's going to be really cool. We know that it's not easy. Race bikes are difficult to prepare. When I say difficult, we're all riding them as hard as we can. So, each rider, each person has their little eccentricities, and I know I've got to work those out on the Honda. But from a base package, it's the strongest that I will ever have started from. That's for damn sure, 100%.
Right, and tell me the relationship with you and Sean for Mark and the Honda team and Centurion Wing Honda. How's that are you guys obviously gonna be sharing data and like compare setups and that kind of thing? Because it can only be beneficial with the two of you.
Yeah, for sure. I want to really develop the bike super quickly. That is important because I think it's a winning package. It just now takes us to make it a winning package, if that makes sense. So Sean and I chat all the time. So we're definitely going to be working together. I'm actually really keen to put another fast rider on one, another front running guy on one, maybe in a King Price Extreme team, maybe one of my riders, who knows? So put a top guy on it as well, just to speed up that development. When we talk about the things that are not easy to develop on a race bike, when we arrive at the first track, whichever one that'll be, whichever race, when we get back to the calendar, that'll be, we won't have gearing, we won't have base setups, we won't have swing arm lengths, and all of that is really difficult to get set in 3 sessions. When you've got 3 riders, it's like 9 sessions and 3 different sets of eyes and 3 different bums that are feeling different things. So, if Honda will give me another one, if they give me 2, there'll be two riders in my colors on top of those bikes, developing them as well with Sean, and with the Honda Wing Centurion thing. But that's all dependent. It's dependent, obviously, on the situation the world's in right now, on where when bikes can arrive is obviously super difficult to tell right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to turn a blind eye against what's happening worldwide and how it's affecting racing. But obviously, we hope for the best for everyone. Everyone needs to be safe out there. Just before, in terms of having a chat with you, Clinton, thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to leave a little space for Cliffy to also ask a question. I just wanted to also, just one question from me. How nice is it that SA-SBK, I feel there's this kind of atmosphere around it, and it's getting better and better, like the participation and the atmosphere, and there's more factory teams getting involved. You just said there's another option for new riders and that kind of thing, and NGK coming on board with Rapid Bike and Bridgestone. I mean, does that also motivate you and kind of justifies all the effort and blood and sweat you put into the sport?
Yeah, it really does. Roy Gardner, who runs SA-SBK, is a close friend of mine, has been a close friend of mine and my family's for 20 years, and when he came on, it was really evident the passion that he was prepared to put into this project, and that can be seen, when we've got NGK coming on as a series sponsor, and not only that, I mean, they're supplying plugs to us teams, us riders out there. I think the plugs are like 800 Rand a plug, and they're just giving them to us.
It's a big investment,
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, to be fair, I've been running those plugs most of my career because there is an advantage. We gain horsepower with those plugs, but it's incredible that they're coming in and giving them to and to each rider on the grid. It's an awesome investment that they're doing. And, the other, maybe people don't know, but, I'm the sales director at Portable Shade, which is also a series sponsor. And, Portable Shade is a branding company, and we brand all the stuff with NGK, with Bridgestone, with SA-SBK. So, they're actually providing work for me as a rider as well. We are actually in the living. So these things are all really, really cool, and it goes to us going forward and building on a strong series. I think this last race we saw an increase in riders. That's always like a thing that people go on and on about, depth of field. To me, depth of field is how good the riders are. Having 200 riders that, guys from the side of the road, that's not racing. To me, racing is having guys, Lance Isaacs, Dave McFadden, Sheridan Marias, Garrick Flock, Blaze Baker, the guys that are front-running guys. That's depth of field. That's exciting for me. And I think there's guys, Marius Kukumur, who's a new guy on the block, a master rider, who's I saw on Facebook that he's like committing to pay entries for other master riders, to get them in and create a series and a competitiveness amongst them. So, I think these things, the ball is certainly rolling. It's sad, we can't continue with the momentum from the last race. But thank you to you guys
We'll keep trying.
giving us the coverage. Giving us the coverage and talking to the riders, and obviously hearing that there's some exciting youngsters. I'm assuming in that introduction I'm a senior rider. I'll just take that for what it is. But
Cliffy, I'm going to have to interrupt you guys and like the time. Cliffy, one last question for you for the champ. I just wanted to quickly say, champ, thank you very much for the show. I'm going to hand you over to Cliffy. And like you said, NGK,
Thanks,
Rapid Bike, Bridgestone, thank you so much for the work you've been doing with the SA-SBK. It's looking really good. Cliffy, to you.
And Rapid Bike sponsor my team too, so yeah, they must keep it coming. They're really looking after us.
So, I mean, with that being said, with the Rapid Bike now, I mean, if you're changing to the new Honda, which, I mean, it's very likely that we might see on a Honda next with the whole change in calendar and schedule and that. I mean, with setup and that sort of thing, and you said you were earlier talking about getting new riders and stuff on board. I mean, when you're looking at new riders and stuff like that coming on, are you looking for guys that have similar riding style to yourself, or are you looking for different feedback? Because obviously with the new Honda now, it's completely uncharted. I'm sure you pretty much covered it, but I mean, we've skipped past it, but I just wanted to check in because, I mean, getting new riders on the grid and, like you said, getting new guys to come and join the national series is a big plus. But bringing new guys on board, obviously, it's got to be beneficial to yourself. And I mean, like with Sean and that, maybe you guys have different roles. So looking at bringing new guys to the field and stuff like that, would you look at guys that have similar characteristics to yourself, or would you look at something completely different?
For me, more than similar characteristics to myself is it's got to be a young rider. That's why I started the race team. So I won't say without giving away too much that it's a new rider to national racing, but it'll be a new rider to the Superbike class. So that's maybe probably gives it away, but it's a young rider, and that to me is more important. That to me is more important. I think each of us will have our certain requirements from the bike, but I think in the beginning, the big steps will all, myself, and the guys will all, gearing is like a big step, and we'll all, even doesn't matter what your style is, the right gearing is the right gearing, and the data will show the right gearing. So things like that, the big steps we'll all take together. The small little clicks, that's at each rider's discretion. But as I say, it's important for me that it's a young rider, it's a rider that can be the future of racing for my team.
Well, that's enough to make me become with the conspiracy theory. Cliffy, you're going to shout at me. I feel like I'm interrupting you. I do apologize, my buddy. I need to say goodbye to Clinton and cut him off. We've got the next in line waiting and standing by for his interview and chat with us. Mean Green Machine that unfortunately didn't partake in round 2. SK, Byron Bester.
Cheers, guys.
Bye, Clint. I miss you.
Bye.
I miss you already.
Thank you so much, Cliffy. You guys say goodbye now. It's like naughty children in the classroom.
You're just
still working out the communication delay.
You're old news, Clint. We've just forgotten about you. We've forgotten about you already, bro.
Say hi to Hopalong Cassidy.
Thank you so much, champ. See you next time. Sorry, Cliffy.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay, so we absolutely had a great time cutting you off there, both Cliffy and Clinton Siller. Thank you so much for chatting to us about your experience as a team manager and a rider and owner. Up next, Byron Bester from High Tech Kawasaki. Let's have a chat with him and see how he's doing after his incident at Zwartkops a couple of weeks ago. Welcome to the show, Byron.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. How are you?
Good, man. How's the leg, bro? We're dying to find out what happened on that Friday, dude, because you were going like the clappers. You were the most exciting guy to watch on the track. I mean, you ride that ZX10 loose, bud. It's very exciting to watch. And then all of a sudden, you flew out of pit lane like a hero. And next time when you came through in turn 3, you looked very uncomfortable. And you pitted and they were carrying you off. And now? So what happened, man?
Yeah, I came into the pits and they were saying, you need to go a bit faster, you're only 0.4 off and you need to go around, you know. So I was like, oh, okay, great. You know, I mean, I'm not that far off. It's the first time I've been so close to them. You know, like the front runner guys, and I went out of pit lane, and then there's this new, it's like a drainage system. Just as you come out of the pit lane, like onto the track, there's this drainage that sort of, I don't know if they built it like recently, but it feels recent that they built it, you know. And he actually clipped it, and I shattered my kneecap. I broke it in half first, and then yeah, the top half of my kneecap actually shattered in, I think, about 8 or 15 different pieces. So yeah, I went to the emergency, and I got an emergency op on the Friday, and then I was out on Saturday. I slept over at the hospital. Most horrible thing ever, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's crazy. And the thing is, like, I felt like the national grid needed you there on Saturday, because you and Garrick Flock were definitely the most exciting guys to watch on the Friday. And Blaze as well. And I looked at how you guys were riding those ZX10. She turned and said to Keith at one stage, I'm like, that's the difference between a fast ZX10 rider and an everyday ZX10 rider, is that you guys were overriding those bikes, working the front end, carrying the front wheel. It was exciting to watch. And then, yeah, unfortunately left Blaze to do it all by himself. But when can we? I mean, barring Corona and all the nonsense that's going on in the outside, when can we expect you back? What's the recovery period?
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, the doctor was saying that in a, it's not necessarily a cast, but it's like a brace. So this thing only allows my knee to bend only 40 degrees. And the doctor was saying that I'm only allowed to have this brace on for 6 to 8 weeks, that it can bend my knee to 40 degrees. And then after 6 to 8 weeks, if my knee is healed and everything's recovered and stuff, I might have to go for another operation to remove all the wires and stuff out of my knee. And then I can start physio again. So, yeah, I mean, maybe about 2 months, maybe about a month and a half. But yeah, we'll see. You know, I mean, hopefully, I'm doing everything I can to, you know, boost the recovery and get better, you know, quicker and faster. And yeah, I mean, I'm just really hoping for the best and holding thumbs.
Cliffy?
Yeah, so I mean, why did you cut me off, Keith? But yeah, so I mean, this break is maybe coming at the best possible time for you, actually, because it's going to give you time to recover and not miss out on too many rounds, because obviously everything is cancelled past April. So maybe that's a big plus. But I mean, climbing on the bike now, I mean, obviously, I'm obviously not at your level, but there's always that little bit of fear climbing on the bike. Mentally, how do you overcome that sort of thing? Was it not really an issue for you?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's been an issue for me before. Last year, I had a lot of issues with crashing and stuff. You know, I mean, it's only my second year on 1,000, and it's a bit difficult to jump on it and just be fast straight away, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this isn't necessarily a sort of like a mind breaker for me. You know, the first race or the first round of the season on the new cover and everything, you know, it's been a difficult ride because we only got the bikes, you know, in the beginning of the year, and we didn't even know if we were going to go Yamaha. We didn't know if we were going to go Kawasaki or Honda or what it be, you know. But we decided to go with Kawasaki, and yeah, you know, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's going to affect me. I hope not, you know, but I'm really motivated to get back on the motorbike. And yeah, I mean, we found a good setup on the weekend that I, you know, had this knee injury. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting there slowly and, you know, surely. So hopefully we'll get there soon.
Keith, what have you got to say, bud? You're very quiet that side. Are you still awake?
I've got so much to say. I just want to keep you guys talking. Yeah, Byron, I mean, the incident couldn't it wasn't ideal. We were all very sad to see you not partake, but it was good to see your team in action there on the Saturday also. It's quite a nice atmosphere with those green machines, beasts in the paddock there. It was quite nice to see also, and hang out with the Besters and the Mariah. Also, I just wanted to thank all the viewers out there for watching, all the guys, Rian, Sean, Mike, Julia, Jonathan, all of you guys, France, Fritz. We appreciate you guys. We're getting into the swing of things and trying to work out our bugs with AIM Cable South Africa on Raceday. If you've got a TV at home, there's a YouTube link on our page. You can follow it and go watch us HD and massively big and see the permed bit in the home studio as it goes forward. We've got a guest coming on after the break that's also on the SA-SBK NGK Bridgestone Rapid Bike series, a 600 rider. But before we get there, I just wanted to speak to Byron about the setup on the current bike. How far from being tuned and dialed in do you feel at the moment? Because like Cliffy said earlier, when you come out of 8 at Swartkops, the front is doing stuff all over the place, but it seems to just be the way you prefer riding it because you ride it so hard. I mean, you're fearless. So I don't know, how do you feel with your setup? Are you happy with the decision to go with the Kawasaki?
Yeah, I mean, at first when we rode the bikes, we just put tires on, took the mirrors off, and I think we changed the exhaust. I'm not really 100% sure. But we went riding, and I was really blown away with the standard bike. It was a lot faster than the Yamaha, and honestly, riding style, I didn't necessarily like the Yamaha, because it was quite restricted with the electronics and sort of, trying to get hard on the gas, coming out of the turn. It didn't necessarily allow me to ride the bike how I wanted to ride, So, I mean, as far as setup and tuning goes, I mean, we're pretty close. It's fractions, or we almost at the finish line. It's just I've sort of gotten another injury that's holding me back again. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we can just move forward from it and get even faster and better.
We absolutely back you from Raceday.tv, and we back you and your whole team with shares in the high-tech Kawasaki. And I want to say thank you for you guys for joining us this evening. Cliffy, last words from you to Byron. Byron, feel better from my side. Do some home training in these up-and-coming weeks. I'm sure there's a lot of techniques that the superbikers can teach us when being stuck in between four walls. It's going to be interesting times, but stay safe, and we speak to you soon.
Perfect, thank you. I appreciate it.
Byron, before you run away, like what you were saying now with regards to the Yamaha and the ZX10 and all that stuff, you say like you're pretty close. What would you be looking for? I mean, on the ZX10, because is it horsepower? Are you looking for better performance on the brakes, or is it all to do with suspension and that? Because watching you ride in that, I mean, you're a cowboy. You're not to get on the gas hard. So what would be that last little bit to get you over the finish line to make sure that you're a front runner going forward?
I mean, it's just, I think it's honestly the biggest factor at the moment is a bit of suspension, We've been with the suspension a lot, and we've been changing a lot of springs and oil and, air gaps and sort of, things like that. But I mean, we're getting there slowly, and I think, honestly, it's just a little bit of that we're just going to need to go forward with. I mean, the Kawasaki has a lot. I don't think it has a lot more horsepower. I just think it sort of runs better on top end. So when the Yamaha was really good at low revs and mid range, where the Kawasaki makes a lot of power from mid range to top. So tracks like East London and Killarney, or big, tracks like Pakisa and sort of Kyalami and places like that, the bike will be a lot better than what do you call it, Swartkorps, because Swartkorps is quite a small track. It's not necessarily big straights and long flowing corners, and it's quite actually a difficult track. So yeah.
Cool.
All right, man, but
Guys,
dude,
Byron,
I
I'm going to
appreciate
let
you
you go.
catching up
Cliffy,
with
I'm
us
going to cut you off there. Chop, chop.
again.
That's my job on the show. You're the smart one. I'm just the sidekick reading messages. Guys, sorry for the interruption. I am going to cut you off there. Once again, Byron Bester, thank you so much for chatting us. Cliffy, once again, I'm the person cutting you off. We're going to our next guest, but Byron, thank you so much, and we'll see you after your recovery.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for having me, and yeah, keep it going.
Cool. Cheers. Guys, Cliffy, you back with me on your house studio on my side of this hanging cable, South Africa, on Raceday.tv, coming from you, for you from our mobile home studios. Guys, we've got a next guest, which is also NGK SA-SBK rider, Taric Van Der Merwe. Cliffy, this 600 rider is really fast, and they had a massive battle between him and the Otto man.
Not only that, and that's what I'll chat to him when he comes on, but I mean, in the first race he ran out of brakes completely, but then he had so much. Yeah, I mean, here he is now, talking to the devil. Yeah, what a handsome chap we've got in the studio here with us. Lucky you, bud.
Lucky, thank you.
So we're here to talk about your weekend in SA-SBK. I mean, first race didn't really go according to plan, but second race you were a monster. But there was a great 600 battle you had on track there with Ricardo Otto. Tell us about your weekend, but how did it go for you?
Yeah, no, it was the first time running on the Bridgestone, so we had to try to get used to it in the free practice. I mean, missing out on the first session, we only had 2 sessions, which was the 2 qualifyings. So, I mean, we had to get a pretty decent setup towards the race, and I tried my best. We didn't want to necessarily push too hard in the qualifying sessions, and we kind of saved it all for the race, And race 1 came, had a bit of a bad start, got mixed up with the thousands into turn 2. And then later stages of the race, I actually had a bit of brake pain into turn 1, turn 2 even worse. Coming into turn 4, I had absolutely nothing, and I just went straight. And then about the second race, we had a pretty good start.
Yeah, I mean, you were there or thereabout, but I mean, with the brake fade that you had, whatever, what did you guys change to make sure it doesn't happen again? Because, I mean, brakes failing at Swartkorps is hairy. But, so, I mean, what did you change? And, I mean, how did you prepare yourself and go out and race 2, having complete confidence that your brakes were going to work for the whole of the second heat?
I'm not going to even lie to you. I mean, my confidence wasn't really there for the second heat, Coming to turn 4, even on the warm-up lap, was a bit sketchy for me, even though I had brand new brake pads in. And yeah, to ensure that I had brakes, we went and ran the new carbon pads. So we had to get them up to heat before on the warm-up lap and whatnot. So, I mean, it was a bit of a shocker. And yeah, I mean, I just had to try to put it past me and carry on.
So, I mean, now looking at it, because, I mean, the 600, it's yourself and Ricardo, I mean, going hammer and tongs for the whole season. And obviously everything's now on hold, and we're waiting for the schedule to be updated and everything like that. But what are you expecting for the rest of the season? I mean, this was your first round on the Bridgestones and that. Are you going to carry on pushing in the Nationals, or are you going to look to see where you can get time in the saddle, or how's it going to work for you going forward?
Honestly, our main focus for this year was towards monocle racing, and I mean, honestly myself, I would like to be participating in the Nationals throughout the rest of the year, and so on the monocle. As much riding as I can get in, to prepare for next year would be really appreciated, And I mean, I really rate that me and Ricardo can have an excellent year this year. Pretty close races, and I'm actually looking forward to our future dices.
Yo, look at that picture, Cliffy. Look at that Dragon Energy bike of yours. We're just looking at some pictures there, Tariq. You guys make it look so just intervene. You guys are so technical. I need to get to all the action-packed stuff, from a non-experienced rider. You guys make it look so simple. And I just wanted to know, like, do you feel and see yourself staying on the 600 for quite a while? Or would you look to go a bit faster on 300s, or would you move up to 1,000 sooner than later? What is your feel
You
on
know,
that?
the main plan is to stay on the 600s and just perfect the 600. You know, that's the reason why we stepped up so early. You know, I wasn't too bad on the 300. I was a really good competitor on the 300. And we just decided to take that step to try, you know, get me further in my racing career in the long run. So, I mean, I'd love to stay on the 600 for as long as possible. Just perfect that. I'd rather not go back to the 300, and it would be like a whole waste of 2 years, you know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd really love to stay on the 600, and you know, obviously, you have a bit of time on the R1 if I could, just to feel that power once in a while. But I mean, I just want to be able to perfect that 600.
So, I mean, you seem to be liking the 600 and you've made that very clear. I just want to also remind some of the viewers at home, and we want to remind you, Taric, like, just for that don't know you at home, just give us a quick rundown of your history, how you got into motorbikes, where you were. You've done some great stuff with your national colors. You've also done some great stuff. I want to just quickly have a recap so some of us and the people that's watching who don't know you as much as we do, just get some background on you. Please, bud.
No worries. So, I mean, I first started off on a little CBR 150 riding track days with Uncle Arno. I mean, the first track I ever rode at was Pekisa. So, I mean, I was like D group all the way at the back, this little 150 just buzzing around, you know, for the fun of it. And then we saw the NSF 100s. We decided to enter the first race. I mean, got lost by like miles, you know. And I mean, I just tried to stick to it, and it just wasn't the bike for me. So then I carried on with my 150. Also, just wasn't the bike for me. And then eventually I stepped up to a 250 in one of the Red Star Club races. And for my debut in the 250cc class, I got second. And that's when I was like, okay, maybe I am actually pretty good at this. So, you know, we just put in the time. And then we started racing the regional 250s, which went really well. And then I entered the Super Juniors, being the youngest rider in 2017. And we had a pretty good year. Just unfortunately lost out on the championship by 1 point due to my bike breaking on the third lap of the last race. And yeah, that was pretty big bummer. And at the end of that year, I actually went and did my first international debut at Slovakia Ring, and I got third. So, I mean, that was a pretty big
There's a nice
accomplishment.
picture of you on the podium. Where was that?
That was in Croatia. That was last year on the 600s.
See, you belong on the 600 now, don't you?
I do, and I just want to stay on it. I got to perfect it.
Awesome. Cliffy, I'm going to hand over to you, young man.
Yeah, so you say that you wanna like perfect the 600. Is there any area of your riding that you feel is lacking at this point in time, or what's the areas that you're going to be working on going forward?
You know, honestly, since I got in the bike, especially at like certain tracks, is my points. You know, from where the 300 was, you know, and to trust the front end a lot more on corner end is something that I'm struggling with. We just haven't got bike for quite a while, and I mean, for the first time in a long time, I had my bike pretty dialed in at Swartkorps, and I just really felt good, you know. My confidence was climbing back up, you know, and I just want to get that better, and hopefully that'll improve my riding all around, you know.
Okay, I mean, and I mean, if you're looking to stay 600, would you want to follow with like Stephen Odendahl that's gone World Super Sports in the 600 class, as opposed to going national thousands, and rather look to go overseas as opposed to stepping up to the thousands in the national class? Or what would your gut feel be? Because I mean, I can see you quite sold on the 600. So obviously, I mean, moving forward in that, you obviously want to go where you feel you can be competitive. But I mean, you don't want to obviously close doors going forward. So what would be the gut feel? Because obviously 600s is quite a bit of money to go overseas. So where do you see yourself going in sort of that aspect of your racing?
You know, I mean, I'd list 600, and where I really would love to be is in the FIM CEV Moto 2 class. So I mean, even to step up to Spanish and then into the CV Moto2, and eventually biggest hopes and dreams into a Premier class, you know. But I mean, they take a lot of hard work and a lot of money to. But if I can keep at it, hopefully one day I can get the chance to display what I have in those series.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, you keep talking about the hard work and the perfection that goes into it. And I need to just highlight for everyone back home not knowing, Taric, you're 15 years old, and you're definitely one of the fastest young gentlemen in the country on a 600. You keep talking about perfection in your setup, and you want to perfect and master the 600 setup. Do you think that's still the general attitude with younger riders coming into superbike racing? And if it's still that pride of being the fastest you can on a certain bike and fighting against time, or is it just get in there and get sponsorships and get a paycheck? Or what's the motivation on long term for new riders coming in?
You know, from what I've seen, I can see all these, especially at the Superbike Short Circuit Series. A lot of them have all the passion. You know, there's a lot of young riders, especially now, and I honestly don't think that they'd ever be in it for the paycheck. It's all out of passion, you know, and I think that they'd also agree with me on perfecting something and to be insanely fast. I mean, who wouldn't want to be insanely fast? I mean, that's like a dream come true. Winning races is what we're here for.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I mean, we really appreciate you coming on the show now and having a chat to us. Obviously, we're going to wait for the Superbike calendar to get sorted out before we see you back in action. But yeah, dude, all the best for the rest of the season and that. You're doing short circuit racing as well, is that right?
Yes, I am in the SM1 X class.
Okay, so we'll be watching you in all facets of motorsports over the 2020 season. But dude, feel free anytime to stop in and keep us updated with your season.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Awesome, Taric. I'm just gonna, before you go and before I let you go, thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to just quickly ask you a question from Johan Fourie. What do you think of the starts among the thousands where you qualify is where you start? How do you feel about that rule?
You know, honestly, it depends on the riders on the day. You know, I mean, if we as the 600s are qualifying, and also, you know, just the track, you know, Swartkops is a lot shorter. I mean, the times are a lot closer. So, I mean, when we get to like the East Londons and the PEs and that, you know, I think it would be a little bit more spaced out. But I mean, I didn't necessarily have a problem. But I mean, sometimes, you know, some of the thousands can hold you up in the corner sometimes, especially if you're trying to chase another 600.
Cordy, right first. Sorry,
So, yeah.
send you there. I'm speaking offline. Just one thing, quickly say thanks to all of your sponsors and all of your support for the 2020 season when that kicks off again. After this, we're going to just play you a nice video from Ride Fast magazine, Rob Portman, to finish off the show. But Cliffy, last words for the young man?
Yeah, like I said before, dude, we're expecting great things from you, and I mean, we'll be watching your career with a close eye. But just keep working, but keep perfecting it, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be things for our country and for racing locally and internationally. So just stick with it, but.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm going to try my best. Promise you that.
Sweet, but
Cliffy,
then take it easy.
I'm going to let you speak. We're trying our best here, guys. Welcome back to Raceday.tv with Hanging Cable South Africa.
Yes, so that was Taric, and I mean he gave us the insights into racing 600s. One thing we haven't touched on, Keith, was the ZX10 Cup that took place over the weekend, because that was also incredible racing. Graham Van Der Merwe in the first race showed his experience and showed why he is a champion in the ZX10 Cup, with him defending the line from Jordan Agliotti. But what a great battle that was. And then second race, a little bit controversial. We had the Agliottis come through. Again, Van Der Merwe showing his class. He had an issue with his gear linkage or something like that to ride around the track in third gear and still finished inside the top 10. So great work on his side and collected some valuable championship points. And but we had battles right through the field with we had Apana doing personal best times, Ron Orbels and Stewie Christie going hammer and tongs. So that was also a great spectacle over the weekend. Obviously, we're running out of time and we can't touch on everything. But that was great racing right through. And then obviously it ended in a bit of controversy. And I just want to get your take on that, Keith. What did you think of the overall ruling with the air filter that unfortunately took the third place away from Keith?
Yeah, look, I mean, the good thing about us being confined to our home studios for the next couple of weeks is the fact that we'll be back next week, Tuesday. We have way too much to talk about the ZX10 Red Square Masters, I think, Cliffy. I think we're going to do a full episode. There's a lot to touch about. Keith Agliati and Race 2 unfortunately realized that he purchased the bike with the incorrect air filter. That was unfortunate. He dealt with it in high spirits. No one knew. He could have known. The officials in race direction made the right call. He got penalized. He took it like a man. The racing was fantastic. Jonty Collard, Graham from Bread, that guy in front, when he stays in front, it is very hard for anyone to get close to him. I think Mike Smith did a great effort in the first section of race 1 to keep him at bay, but I do feel that Graham was just waiting for the right moment. Jonty, I believe there's something in the pipeline between you and Jonty. Was there of some sort?
Yeah.
Am I mistaken?
So I mean, I don't want to take it away from him, so it's got to happen. But episode 1, I said, and like Jonty said, sometimes I might think or speak before I think, but he owes me a haircut. So yeah, I'm not going to take it away from him. As soon as we can get back in studio, we'll get Jonty in, and then he can give me that haircut. So I'm looking forward to that, but we can touch on that more next week when we talk ZX10 for the full episode, because like you said, there was a lot of racing that happened and a lot of things that happened that weekend. So I'm actually excited that we full episode on ZX10 Cup, because it was really worth it if you watched the racing on that Saturday.
Absolutely. I know by that time they are doing the voiceover. Rob Portman and them are doing the voiceover for the cut. We'll be seeing that race coming to us next week, I believe, or later this week. If you haven't seen the SA-SBK link, we'll post it again below. Please go watch round 2 at Swartkops. That was amazing. As Cliffy and I said, I think we're going to dedicate a full show to the to the ZX10 Red Square Masters next week, Tuesday. So we'll phone a few of them. Guys, like we've said, we have been quite untouchy about it at the moment with the COVID-19 and what's going down worldwide and in the country. We need to reiterate to do the best you can. Try and support people that you know don't have support within the motor industry. Again, we support all of that. Reach out to people. Stay safe and stay. Cliffy?
My boy, we'll catch you next week then, eh?
Yeah, I think, and then obviously last but not least, we're playing out with a nice video from Rob Portman from Ride Fast Magazine. They did some amazing testing this week. I've been informed it's not there, unfortunately. Rob, I'm going to have to upload this. It's a technical bug. Apparently, it's not downloading the video. Fred says it's his fault. He'll claim it. We'll put it up for you. There's a message coming from Rob. Sorry, guys. Henk, Fred at Raceday.tv. Thank you so much for having us. We'll see you guys next week.